All right, roofing on a budget, basically. This gutter, I did another video on this, but this gutter, as you can see, has a lot of issues. It's full of water. It hasn't rained for a number of hours at least. I mean, hasn't really rained today. Little saplings growing in here, so forth. And so this is a kind of a common problem that can happen on gutters, where it sags at the wrong spot and then it can't drain itself. There was only one drain at that far end, and it's a pretty long gutter. And what I did is I talked about how it might be possible to kind of re-slope the whole gutter and get it to drain at the drain that was there. However, I decided it would be easier just to add another drain. And this is, I mentioned roofing on the budget. I literally just made this out of parts that were laying around. And so it's kind of random. It's just to save the budget, but it's going to be functional. It's going to be actually quite functional. And what I'm going to do, instead of rebuilding the whole re-sloping the whole gutter is the word I'm looking for. I'm just going to re-slope this end of it, and I added this outlet, and then from these random parts, I know it looks really random, and it's not something you would do professionally, like for a customer, unless they really want you. It's a situation where they can't afford to not make it look professional, but like I said, it's quite functional. I cut a hole. This is all, it doesn't look new, but it's made with old parts, but this is new, and it's going to drain off the roof, and it's just made with parts laying around, and all I'm doing is unscrewing just the ones on the end here. Going to drop it down. And now these hangers are really old. I've never really seen this kind before, exactly quite like this. By the way, if you know a lot about this stuff, you'll notice this is not caulked yet, and it should be. This new outlet I put in, that should be cleaned up and caulked, and ideally I should have caulked underneath it before I screwed it in. And ideally it would get riveted or screwed the other way from the other side, so you don't see the little screw thing sticking out. But we are not worried about that. It's going to be very functional. And what I was getting at with these is that I might just have to abandon the ones that look like this, the older ones. And there's enough other ones in here, and if not, I can get a few more of these. They're actually pretty cheap. And they just screw right in. You put them in a certain way where they grab in to the front lip and they screw in. Assuming you have something to screw into behind, which can be a problem sometimes with certain types of roofs. And then if not, you have to get you have to do something else, get special kind of hangers. Like these hangers that were on here actually are mounted up underneath. They're like screwed on the roof underneath the shingles. And I know the shingles are very old, but they're actually still quite functional. Even regardless of how they look right now. So what I'm going to remove or detach the old ones and the new ones. Let the gutter drop a little more to the point where, and I don't even have a level up here right now, but the water will be my level. The water will just start running that way. When it does, I know I got slope, because water makes its own level. But you could get a level if you need to, and put a level on it. And yeah, you just gonna drop that in, water will drain out, reattach it at the point where the water can run out, and then that'll solve this whole problem. This was a big problem that was just going to get worse, and it would cost who knows how many hundreds to have someone come in, and they would probably give you a quote for a whole new gutter or whatever, or maybe they would do something. Maybe they would be able to repitch it, but they probably just would sell you a whole new gutter. And it could get quite expensive. And this is going to be quite functional for basically almost $0 out of pocket. I just happen to have, now granted, not everybody's going to have these parts laying around, But even if you had to buy all these parts new, it's really not a big expense, especially compared to if a roofing company would come in and sell you a whole new gutter or whatever. Have a great day.